What could be this need? I thought, for Sai's words are never in vain. Then I realized all the ceremonies were not yet complete. Ceremonies had been performed for the particular day until the next day dawned, and the Gopal Kala was over. The festival would not be deemed to be over. In this way, Kirtan, Gopal Kala, etc. were performed the next day, and then Baba gave permission to take down the cradle. Next year, Bhishma was not available, so Balabua Satarkar was approached for performing the Kirtan, but he had to go to Kavate and was not available too. So Kaka Mahajani brought another Kirtarkar by the name of Baba Labua Bhajani, known widely as the modern Tukaram. Ceremonies were performed at his hands. Even if he had not been available, Kaka would have himself stood up for the Kirtan, for he knew by heart the Katha for Ramanami, composed by Das Guru. The third year, Balababu Sartarkar himself came to Shirdi at the appropriate time. Now listen carefully how this came about. Having heard of Sai Baba's fame, a famed desire for his darshan arose in his mind. But he wanted some company on the way, and how to get that was his worry. Balababu was himself a Haridas, who originally came from Satara, but was at the time staying at Parel, Bombay. The Satara district there is a shrine called Birhat Siddha Kavate. Boa received annual allowance for performing there on the occasion of Ramanavami. But this Bhagavan was really concerned with two annual festivals there. The Ashadha Ekadasi in July August and Ram Navami in Chaitra in March April. According to a charter of the Mughal Emperor Akbar, a sum of rupees 124 had been sanctioned for the expenses and accordingly allotted for the expenses of the deity as per the original scheme of the Sangli Sansthan. So for these two festivals, Baba received an allowance of 30 rupees. But that year cholera broke out at Kavati and the villagers faced a problem. Since Ramnavami could not be celebrated, Baba received letters from the village saying that he should come next year, as the whole village was deserted. In short, that year he lost the chance of serving Rama and receiving his allowance. But this was his opportunity to go to Shirdi, so he met Dikshit in this connection. He thought that since Dikshit was such a great devotee of Baba, if he takes it in his mind, then his wish to go to Shirdi will be fulfilled, and thus both his purposes, self-interest and spiritual benefit, will be served. So he said to Dikshit, this year I missed my annual allowance, so I should take Baba's session and also perform Kirtan and Shirdi. Boss sir, Dikshit then replied, about the allowance, there is no guarantee. To give it or not, it is entirely in Baba's hands. And as for the Kirtan instruction, we needed for that too. Even as we were talking, thus Kaka Mahajani came there quite unexpected and gave Gudi and Prasad from Shirdi to everybody, which was considered as a good omen. Mahajani had just come from Shirdi at that time, and he had come to say that all was well at Shirdi, so he went back to his house. So Dikshit then very lovingly said to Baba, you seek Baba's permission and given, you don't let him know. And then when the letter came, Baba should come to Shirdi without worrying about the travel expenses. For that one should not trouble oneself and entertain doubts in one's mind. Later on, Dikshit went to Shirdi. Baba also gave his consent. Baba then came to Shirdi and had Baba's session in his heart's content. To his heart's content. Sai Baba also lovingly had the kitchen performed in front of him. With all the ceremonies and festivities, the Ramanavami at the hand of Balabua. Balabua on his part was very pleased that his object was fulfilled and so was Sai. Everybody was satisfied. Boss remunerated handsomely. 150 rupees was paid to him by Baba's command. Was joy. Knew no bounds. I given him for that one festival amount which he would have received after 5 years at Kavate. Why then should Balabua not rejoice and be grateful to Baba? However, later on when Daskal had wants to come to Shirdi, and festival was interested in thereafter Baba's permission. From then on till now, the birth celebration of Ram took place with pomp and pageantry, food being plentifully served to one and all, even to the lowliest of the low, and to the great joy and satisfaction. On the occasion, the portals of the Samadhi Mandir, amidst the resounding and musical instruments, rises the chant of Sai's name to fill the skies and suffuse them with waves of joy. As with the holding of the fair or Urus, so was Gopalgund also inspired with the idea of renovating and beautifying the dilapidated mosque. Devotee Goparan decided that even the mosque should be properly renovated. That to his own hands. So he got the stones ready, but it appears like good to us not to play a part in the renovation work. As later, as for Baba's wishes, a good opportunity for accomplishing this piece of work came for the accomplishing this piece of work. Now seems that Baba wanted this to be done by Nana Sahib Chandorkar, which the Kaka Sahib Dikshit should then get the floor paved. And so it came to pass a little later. At first they tried in vain to get his permission until they were exhausted. All Sabati was then asked to mediate. Only then did Baba give his consent. But when the flooring of the mosque was paved overnight, and from the very next day, Baba started using a cushion seat. In the year 1911, a portico Sabamandap was built. But oh, what Herculean effort it involved! What toil and bother! Besides, it made them all tremble with fear. However, the piece of work was completed with arduous effort by the devotees the same way, under the same circumstances, in one night. Later, the devotees would run the columns at night. The next morning, Baba would start pulling them out, seizing an opportunity to fix them again. Thus would the effort exhaust them all. All would gird their loins, turning night into day, and toil away to fill with the one great desire of their hearts. Within it was an open space with a tiny yard in it. Dikshit thought would be suitable for building a portico, no matter how much money it required. But they bought iron columns and angle brackets, and seeing that Baba had gone to the Chavadi for the night, they accomplished the task, working at it all night. It was with thus ram the columns with great effort. No sooner Bala returned from the cavity in the morning than he would begin pulling them out. Then on one occasion, Baba lost his temper, holding Tatya by his neck with one hand. And with the other, he tried to tug at the column in an attempt to pull it out. Shaking the column, suddenly loosened it. Then he took out Tatya's stubborn and lighting it up the master, threw it into a pit in great fury. At that time, the suns appeared like balls of fire. Who dared look at him in the face at that time? They all lost their nerve. At once he put a hand in his pocket, took out a 1 rupee coin, which he threw in the into the pit too, as if to mark the auspicious moment. Cursed the abuses came down in a shower. Satya was terrified. At heart, the tricky situation had arisen. But how did this happen? People were all stunned. Why such a ominous portent today? How can Tatya Patil be rescued from this calamity? They wondered. Bhagavad Shinde made bold and cautiously moved forward, only to fall an easy prey to Baba's wrath. He too was belabored by Baba to search content. Even Madhavrao got caught. He was rewarded with Baba's favor in the form of a few bricks hurled at him. Whoever else tried to mediate similarly received Baba's grace books. Even as people were still wanting us to hold that to go in front of Baba, how can Tatya be freed? Baba Sahib slowly began to cool down and finally he calmed down completely. Cloth merchant was sent for at once and a turban with a gold border was ordered. Baba himself got it tied around Rara's head, as if to bestow upon him a mark of honor from a Raja. But people were still puzzled as to the cause of the sudden anger for the attack on the attack on Datya and all this abusing and reviling. What reason did he flare up so? And in a moment, how did he appear so pleased and happy? The reason behind all this couldn't be understood at all by anyone. Sometimes he would be so calm and composed and would converse lovingly. Sometimes in a flash, without apparent reason, his mind would be in great agitation. Such then are the tales of Baba. As in narrating one, another comes to mind, filtering the narrator's mind as to which he should narrate and which keep back. Moreover, it's not really correct to be partial in the selection. Nor can I bring myself to be partial. Whichever tale is appropriate for the occasion will find its way to the reader to satisfy his desire to listen to these tales. And now listen in the next chapter to stories of the past, heard from the mouths of old people, which I shall narrate according to my capacity, whether Sai Baba was Hindu or Muslim, or the money taken under the pretext of Dakshina was used by him for renovation of old temples, how he mortified his flesh through Dhoti Poti and Kanda Yoga, how he toiled for the welfare of others, what are the difficulties of his devotees. All this will become clear in the next chapter and will satisfy the listeners.